This is Brad Butke with Crop Tech Consulting. We're going to do our first Technology Tuesday video of the week. Today we're going to talk about a new product that I became aware of called Maps Made Easy. And this is a product for image stitching and georeferencing imagery, specifically taking from aerial platforms. So whether that be a full-size aircraft or even a drone, any imagery that's shot straight down from the air. One of the biggest concerns that we've had with all the interest with farmers in the drone technology has been, what are we going to do with those images and how are we going to make them useful for scouting and for making management decisions. And one of the keys of that process is making sure that we can get those images stitched back together and get them referenced in a way that we can use them to compare with our yield maps, our application maps, and those sort of things, as well as be able to go out in the field with that information on a handheld device and help us do our scouting. And the big link in that has been the computer power and the software to get the stitching and the referencing done has been a pretty daunting task. It's either really expensive and it takes a lot of knowledge, and I think this new product, the website Maps Made Easy, is going to make that simpler for growers, and it's at an extremely low cost. So we're going to go through a short run through of some of the features of the software, and I'll show you an example of a map that I was able to do with some drone imagery, and then we'll also link you to the Maps Made Easy YouTube channel where you can find more detailed information and tutorials how to use the software. But the website is mapsmadeeasy.com. In this case, this is their homepage right here, and I've already logged into my account. It's free to set up an account, and they actually apply credit to your account every month for free, so you can test the software before you sign up for a subscription or pay as you go image processing. So the main page when you log in is going to be your dashboard. So if you click on the dashboard button, it's going to take you to a list of all the maps that you've done so far, or any maps that are currently pending. As far as the process for creating a new map, it's pretty easy. You go up here to the right hand top of the page and you click New Map, and then it's going to give you several different options. So whether you just want to stitch imagery together without geo-referencing it, so this is useful to take multiple images. So in the example that I used, I had 34 images of a 40-acre tract. I was able to take those 34 images of that 40-acre tract and stitch them together into one image so I could see the field as a whole. The more useful tools are the ones that allow you to geo-reference that as well. So basically, it's going to give the map a geolocation that you can load the map on a handheld device or into your GIS software like ArcView or SMS or MapShots or any of those ag GIS softwares, and compare it to your application maps and or yield maps and other imagery. So I would recommend using these over here where we were able to geo-reference them. The easiest way to do it is to geo-reference it with a base map. So that's this third option here. So basically you're going to pick points in the images and pick points on a Google aerial map or a Bing aerial map that coincide with those points to reference it. So from this page here, we'll just go ahead and click on geo-reference map with base map. And then up here at the top, it's going to give you all the steps you're going to go through to go ahead and get your images loaded and get the process started. I'm not going to go through every one of these here today. You can watch the tutorials from Maps Made Easy where they go through that, but I'll kind of go through the list of tabs here as far as the simple steps. So the first thing you're going to do over here is you're going to enter the map info. So this gives you the option to name the map and give the map a description. So maybe information like the farm name, and then maybe what date it was flown, what crop you were looking at, any specifics that you want to keep track of that pertain just to that map, you can enter there and it'll stay with the map as long as it's in the software. It also gives you an option to make your map public or private. So for example, when you get done, you can get a code to embed into a website, or you can email a link and other people can have access to your map. So you can decide right now whether or not you want it to be public or not. You can also change that after the map's created, so you just have to choose yes or no. Then you'll go to the Select Images tab. This is where you'll upload the images, and it'll give you a set of credentials that those images must meet. Read the EXIF tags. Basically, you'll just select one of the images that you've already imported, and it'll automatically download the information, like what camera it was from, what were the settings of the camera, the GPS data, if there's any tied to the image, will be read in there, and that's a simple one-step process. Verify images. This is where you can go through the images and delete any of the ones that you may not need. So for example, they only want images that are shot straight down. Any that are more than 20 degrees off of being shot straight down, they want you to delete out of there. Any images that may have been taken before the aircraft had taken off, or while the aircraft was landing, any of that extra imagery needs to be deleted for the software to work properly, and they'll walk you through that process under the Verify Images tab. The next tab is the Point Use tab. The Point Use tab is basically a prediction of what points are going to be used or charged against your account. The accounting system on here is point based, so you either sign up for a subscription and get so many points per month, or you can outright buy the points. So for example, at the resolution that I'm going to use in my example here shortly, the imagery was at 1.6 inches per pixel, so it's a lot finer than what we see with the most manned aircraft, because we're flying so low to the ground. And if we buy the imagery outright without a subscription, using the example that I did here today, you're looking at about 13 cents an acre to buy 120 acres worth. If you buy 4,000 acres or more, you're looking at about 5.5 cents per acre to use this software. So it's very affordable, and when you get to this Point Use tab in the upload process, it'll let you know what that particular map's going to cost to process. Georeference, this is where you select the different reference points on your images as well as on the map. So again, you're going to pick at least 7 points on your images and match those up to 7 points on Google Maps, and that's what's going to give that image a geolocation. Once you've done that, the final step is to upload and process. You'll upload your imagery and the processing will begin. Depending on whether or not you expedite it or go ahead and pay for the basic service, will determine how fast that imagery is processed. And again, usually the most you're going to wait is 36 hours. In my particular case, I've done 3 different maps, and it's taken less than an hour each time to get that done, and I did not pay for the expedited service to do that. So then once your map is up and going, if you go to the Maps page, you can come up here to the Maps tab and hit the Complete button, and it's going to go to your completed maps. So in this case, I've done 3 different trials here. 2 of them I just stitched together, and one of them is a georeference map. So you can see how many images over here on the right it took to make up that stitched image, and then also how many points were charged to put that image together. So in this case, this referenced image here cost me 108 points. Again, it's around 13 cents an acre to get that put together. When we want to view the map, we can just click on it, and it'll bring it up in a new window. And again, you can see that this map is georeferenced because we've got a background layer behind it. We can switch that between just a street view and a satellite view, and we can also turn our stitch layer on and off. Down here at the bottom, it gives us all kinds of options to do exports. So if you want to export it as a GeoTIFF, so you can have it in your iPad with a program like PDF Maps, or if you want to export just a JPEG image that you can reference in your GIS software, those are options down here. You can also have a full screen view. So if you click on full screen view, now you can use your mouse and scroll in and start to see more detail. So in this case, again, as we zoom in, the image is going to get better, and we're going to get clear down to 1.6 inches per pixel. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that your camera is going to have some limitations based on the lens size and shape. So in this case, I was using a Phantom Vision Plus, and it has an extremely wide angle of view with a fisheye lens. And you can see over here when we look at these grain bins that we have some distortion, especially with objects that have elevation. So in this case, the bin over here looks pretty good, and some of these are pretty chopped up. But for the most part, the imagery that we see out in the field looks like it was stitched together pretty well. So the flatter lens types cameras are going to work better with this than any fisheye view. So again, the Vision Plus camera and the GoPro cameras are going to struggle with the stitching process unless you switch them to a flat lens. They also offer a point estimator and a mission planner. So if you come up here to the point estimator tab, it'll bring you to this page here. And basically what this does is it allows you to predict the cost of a certain sized image at a certain resolution, and it also helps you build a flight plan. So this is the exact field that I showed you just a second ago, and this is the flight plan to actually take your drone out and fly that field. So in this case, I selected the 40-acre area here that I wanted to fly, and I did that by coming down here to the bottom and setting my map area. So everything's in meters. So in this case, I did 450 meters by 450 meters. The heading is 0 degrees, so I was going to fly this straight north and south. Once I do that, I can come up here, and on this Google Earth image, I can scroll in anywhere I want, and wherever I right-click, it's going to set the bottom left-hand corner of that flight plan. So again, I can line that up where I want it. Once I've done that, it's going to tell me how many images, how many passes, the flight duration, and the resolution, as well as the time between each image. So in this case, I had to set my camera to about 7 seconds between each image. And all that's going to pertain to the information you enter down here below. So again, you're going to enter the actual camera that you used. So in this case, it was a Phantom Vision 2. I had it set at 14 megapixels. The rest of this information is automatically populated for you. And then down here at the bottom, you enter your altitude and your speed, and that's how it comes up with the points up here at the top. So again, this is a very user-friendly system. It's probably the best thing I've seen out there for creating referenced aerial imagery with drones, and it's an extremely low-cost solution. So again, if you have any more interest in this, I'd recommend visiting their YouTube channel and watching some of the tutorials. And again, we're going to be working with it more in the future.